You are not broken. You are not stuck. You are patterned. Every result in your life, your health, your relationships, your finances, your peace, tracks back to a program running beneath the surface. You didn't consciously choose it, and you absolutely have the power to change it. Welcome to Enable No More, Take Back Your Power, the podcast for cycle breakers, pattern disruptors, and anyone ready to stop giving their power away and start leading their life today. I'm your host, Jen McCutcheon, personal power, trauma, and recovery coach, speaker, author, and disruptor. And this is where awareness becomes agency, legacy level healing, and the root system of recovery. Let's dive in and take back your power. Welcome back to the show. I am super excited. I say that every time we do a recording because this is just what it's all about, is talking, sharing, communicating, learning from other people and their journeys, because I really truly believe our story is our greatest offering. So I am really pumped to be able to introduce today's guest. She is someone whose work is a beautiful expression of everything we talk about here on Enable No More, Take Back Your Power, because disrupting the pattern doesn't just happen in the mind, it happens in the body too. Tatianna Graham is a physiotherapist. She is a yoga teacher, a movement coach, a speaker, author, and mom of 3 beautiful kiddos, the host of Move with Ease podcast, and the creator of Move with Ease method. So like so many women Tatianna works with, she used to believe pushing harder was the answer until her own experience with injury and motherhood, a marathon training that taught her something deeper. Our bodies are always communicating with us, and when we slow down enough to listen, this is where true healing begins. So we are so excited to have you join us today. I cannot wait to hear more about you, hear your story, and all the wisdom that has come through your journey. So welcome, Tatianna, to the show. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Jen. It's so great to be here and see your beautiful face.
Right back at ya. Right back at ya. Yeah, so we were introduced about just over a year and a
Not
half
even.
ago. Not even that long.
No, I just met you in January.
That's true. That's true.
It
Yes, we
feels like
hosted
longer though.
I know, right? It's like maybe it's just because we have past lives together.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, we met
Yeah.
through Margaret Wallace Duffy, who is our Preventative Health Awareness Movement / month founder, right?
Yes.
And we co-hosted the Stronger Through Midlife event together here in Ottawa to kick off February as Preventative Health Awareness Month in Ottawa. So yeah, that's how Jen and I met.
Yes. Yes. So why don't we start there? Why don't you share a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you began, and how you got to where you are now?
Sure. Yeah. It's kind of funny that I met you and the family, PHAM, and Margaret when I did, because I was actually hitting a bit of a low point in I don't want to say like my career per se, but I had moved online after the pandemic. So by background, as Jen said, I'm a physiotherapist, sort of that classical, traditional, seeing clients one-on-one in my clinic, but always had this vision or like dream of doing group. And I did do that through yoga teaching because I teach in the community a lot, but something a bit more focused with women's health. And it didn't really come into fruition until 2022. I invested in business coaching to help me launch an online program called the Move with Ease method. But in my heart, I have always been really passionate for preventative health. But at the time, and this is not the fault of my business coaches or anything, but it was always like, I don't get what you're trying to sell, Tatianna. Like, are you fixing back pain? Is it chronic pain? Like, nobody's going to buy a problem and buy a solution to a problem they don't have yet. And while I understood that from a marketing sort of that perspective, I was like, but like, why don't we catch it early? Like, why don't we listen to the whispers of the body and, correct the imbalances or
Mm.
like start feeling like ourselves before we don't and before we burn out, before we're, can't do the things that we love. So that, and I actually have a page in my journal at the end of December that was sort of like, what do I do next? Do I like pivot? Do I just, change my program and all these things? And then I met Margaret, which was like, oh my God, other people. This is so awesome, right? And then we had that beautiful Stronger Through Midlife where we like basically sold out and the women in that room, the people, there were a few men too. It was just I was like, okay, like there's a reason why I have just like kept going is because like deep in my gut, I feel like this is what we need. This is
Mm.
where our healthcare needs to go. And this is how we're going to build stronger communities is through prevention. And I practice this with my kids. I'm not perfect, but I'm lucky that I found yoga in my early 30s when I was pregnant. The only reason I ended up being a dedicated yogi was because I couldn't run anymore. My belly was getting big. It was like starting to kind of feel uncomfortable. So I was pretty dedicated to power yoga. And Jen, we were just chatting about this before. I think we have similar yoga journeys where we sought it for the physical stuff. And
Hmm.
even at the time, Shavasana, the teacher would give us 10 minutes lying down. How beautiful is that? But I, in my mind, was like, what a waste of time. I paid like, $20 for the class. We should still be burning calories. Like, I can still be in a plank. Like, what are we doing here? But, over time, and this doesn't happen overnight for anyone who's like new to yoga, like you end up craving and like needing those moments and they translate off the mat, which is so cool because it does teach us to friggin' slow down and like tune into our bodies. And even if
Yeah.
you're just breathing, it's giving you so much information. Like how we breathe is giving us so much information on what our state is in right now. And that is useful.
I mean, you said so much there, and I loved it. Our bodies are always communicating with us, right? And there's
Yeah.
so much around, oh, we got to like mindfulness and mindset, which is beautiful. But so many people are missing, they're disconnected from their bodies. Our bodies
Mm-hmm.
are the most intelligent operating systems. Like
Mm-hmm.
our bodies we take for granted. Our bodies like get us from point A to point B. They fuel us every day. But most of
Mm-hmm.
us are not honoring them as the temple that they are,
Mm. That's
right?
so
So
beautifully said. Yep.
I work in like, and we all do, we're spiritual beings, we're energetic beings. So we're science and spirituality. I resonate very much with the body because I work with both the mind and the body. And you're
Mm-hmm.
working with both as well. Like, so what's so beautiful about this is like talking about that connection. You said the whispers of the body. We're constantly being, we hear these whispers. We all hear them. You hear them, but we disregard them. We override them. We
Mm-hmm.
like push them away because there's been programming, because this is, disrupting the pattern, take back your power podcast. I mean, it's we're disrupting or we're overriding our body's intelligence until that whisper becomes a scream, which is
Yeah.
dis-ease, disease, whatever
Yeah.
that shows up as for people, right?
Yeah. And I'm kind of just reflecting a little bit because my kids are still young, especially my youngest one is 7. Like there are
Mm.
moments where even as a parent, like it has shifted because of the work that I know now and I practice myself and I do from him and my older one is turning 14 soon. Like even how I parent and I'm not like, guilting myself, but I was a young first mom with my first, right? And there are moments where we would be like in circles in a mommy group and the kids would bang themselves or something. They were like babies and we'd all clap and be like, yay, because we were trying to avoid the cry. But
Mhm.
like thinking back, that was so crazy of us, but like not to our fault. Like it was just like you're just trying to fix and make it better, right? And then but now with my youngest, when he falls and cries, I'm like, that looks like it really hurts, buddy. And you acknowledge it and like you let them feel those emotions that are uncomfortable.
I'm so excited because yes, you're talking about overriding a program. And that's a
Yeah.
good way. That's a disruption of an old program. Like our parents probably did that. We learned that from somewhere. I did the same thing with my kids. And yes, it's not from a place of shame or blame. It's from a
No.
place of acknowledgement that
Mm-hmm.
that's not helping, that's hurting, right? That's where we
Yeah.
no longer enable ourselves, enable our children, and it's where we connect. Because when we are disconnected from our bodies, when we are disconnected from our emotions and our feelings, and we're just overriding them, we're just suppressing them. When, like you say,
Mm-hmm.
your kids fall over and you're like, yay, good. I remember like we used to say to the kids, we got this from my nephew. It's like rumble tumble, oh rumble tumble, right? He'd fall over and we'd like be like, oh rumble tumble. It's like he just fell over. He just got hurt.
You
Like,
know.
right? It's like, wow. And we've all done it. And these
Mm-hmm.
are programs, these are patterns. And when we
Mm-hmm.
start to recognize they're actually not helping, they're training people, our children are in like to become more and more disconnected from our
Mm-hmm.
reality.
That's right.
And what a beautiful thing to be able to offer your children, where you give them presence, where you acknowledge the pain, the hurt, the emotion, physical, mental, emotional, all of it, and
Yeah.
how much more quickly they overcome that. And then the
That's
next time
right.
they fall down, and the next time they fall down. That's the
Yeah.
program of capability, presence over like panic.
Totally. Or that like disconnect of like, okay, like it really hurts, but I'm supposed to smile and suck it up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
really interesting. I actually just thought of that example as we were talking right now. And to your point about, I think there's so many entry points, right? To like this kind of work. We might enter
Mm-hmm.
it through breath work. We might enter it through therapy, talk therapy. We might enter it through spirituality, energy work, Reiki, NLP, mindset, mindfulness. For me, because of my background, right? And again, the way our schooling and healthcare training is right now, it's very physical. And for
Mm-hmm.
a long time, it was like I was only allowed, like in my scope, to like treat the physical aspect. And then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, if somebody needs help, mental health space, like you refer, and I still refer, I'm not saying I don't, but I have really like expanded that when I ask questions, right, with my clients, like you kind of have to treat them like a whole person because the back pain isn't really just the back. Coming
Yeah.
in for your jaw pain, your neck pain, it's like, why are you like, what's the root of holding that tension? And then as we like peel back those layers, it's like, okay, like you're clenching all the time because you're stressed. What's causing the stress? The stress is coming from work. Why is work so stressful? Oh, there's like relationships that are toxic. Okay, like helping peel back those layers, not just like getting the hands-on treatment and then it just like keeps coming back, right? Like you
Yeah.
kind of have to. So I actually really love that part of my job now because I like helping people get to your point on kind of like peel back, disrupt the pattern, and then how do we not keep repeating the pattern? Because that's
Exactly.
where the transformation happens. That's where we can
Yeah.
actually create change that lasts.
Yeah, exactly. So the disconnect, I mean, yes, there's so many different entry points, right? Where we
Mm-hmm.
get to experience that. The disease, like when we're struggling with any ailment in the body,
Mm-hmm.
what you said was you can't just treat the physical pain because the physical pain is coming from somewhere. And I know what you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about because in as a physician, as it used to just be we only treat it's only that's the sick care system that we
Yes.
are we are experiencing, and the breakdown of the healthcare system that we are witnessing is
Yes.
that there's this only one way of viewing what the issue is, and there
Right.
is that you're only treating a small percentage of the larger picture, which is what I call the root system of recovery, is exactly what you're talking about. Whether it's
Mm-hmm.
mindset, whether it's physical it's there's always a deeper root behind whatever you think the problem is. The problem that you think you have isn't actually the problem. It's the
Yeah.
sign, it's the symptom, it's the red flag that's telling you
Mm-hmm.
about a deeper rooted issue. And I lived that firsthand, and I won't go deep into it, but I mean, I was very, very sick. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
mentally, emotionally, physically, but the physical symptoms is what I was like, oh my gosh, like I had all these heart palpitations and digestive problems. I was diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome and
Yeah.
all
And how
this
many
crazy.
many people have IBS,
Yeah,
right? Like,
but
and
not
it's
one. I went through so many different avenues to try to figure out what was wrong because I was
yeah.
so sick. My hair was
Hmm.
falling out. I had body rashes.
Yeah.
I was struggling, but nobody talked to me about the stress in my life. Nobody went
No.
there as far as like any of that stuff. I was given medicine and creams and this
Yep.
and that. And it wasn't until I went to a naturopath that I started to really get clear on what was actually happening. The inflammation in my body from chronic
Mm-hmm.
stress was what was
Mm-hmm.
creating it. When I started to like find other ways to ease, like yoga and
Yeah.
breath work and eating, like intuitively eating,
Yeah.
listening to my body, what was working in
Yep.
my body, what food wasn't. I had so many food intolerances, like I could barely eat anything. That's how inflamed my body was.
Yeah.
So it's
But
like
I
it's a
bet you if
bigger
you ran an
picture,
allergy test, right? Like I see this
which I
all the
did.
time, and it happened inside my own family,
Yep.
right? Like you run an allergy test because that's what your family doctor is going to refer you to. Not their fault. It's just what they're trained to
Yep.
do. And then the allergist does the test, and they're like, "Nope, you can eat everything." But then you're like, "Okay, but I don't feel good." But it's like, "No, you're not allergic." And it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, at that point, we just have to make that discernment of like, well, I don't that this happens when I eat that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to make that choice, right? We
Yeah.
kind of have to like take ownership, take our power back, because so many of us just rely kind of on that. Well, the doctor says I can eat that, so. But
Yeah.
then it's like, but
Exactly.
you don't feel good. Like
Yeah.
if we really listen and tune in, like your body's telling you that doesn't sit well here. So,
You have no idea how many doctors I had tell me that everything was fine. My everything came back fine, right? My blood work was fine. There was no
yeah.
this, that, or the other. And they were basically telling me like it was in my head, these things that were happening. And it was really a
Mm,
frustrating and really difficult time because I was pain in my body. I could barely get out of bed in some mornings. It was awful and
yeah.
it makes you feel a little crazy. Like there was times where I was like, what's wrong with
Yeah.
me? Like something's seriously wrong and mentally, like, is it in my head? Like
Yeah.
to the point where I'm
Yeah.
questioning myself, like, is this just in my head?
Right.
And when you start
Yeah.
to, you said it, take back your power. It's like, no, I'm going to keep looking. And this is the seeker in me till I find somebody that actually is going to listen to me. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I
Mm-hmm.
found in this doctor. He was incredible, this naturopath, that he was the first one to talk about all the stuff going on in my life, all and go deeper and ask those questions and started to
Yeah.
connect the dots. And I finally felt seen and heard.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to get the treatment that I needed. And slowly, it took years for me to get back my health. But that's part of the missing piece. And that's the pivot that we're seeing, I think, now in our healthcare through
Mm-hmm.
individuals like you and me that are working from different zones in
Mm-hmm.
healthcare, but
Yeah.
they're all connected. Our
They are.
bodies and our minds are all connected. We can't
Yeah.
treat one without the other. If you're looking at a
No.
symptom without looking at the other, the inversion of that, you're
Yep.
missing the greater picture. You're missing the opportunity to heal at the root.
Absolutely. And heal
Mm,
from like pretty cool how the body does heal itself. We just
and
need space to allow it to do it. It can do it.
exactly.
We may need some conventional medicine, right? But even that
Yeah.
can be temporary, like our fellow ambassador Renee, who healed her heart. Now she's off the heart meds. Like,
Yeah.
we do need pharmaceuticals. We're so lucky to have all those things available to us in Canada, but there's also that other side of like our bodies can heal and let's give it that space, allow it to.
Exactly. We're blessed in so many ways to have the technologies and things that we have in the healthcare system. Phenomenal doctors and physiotherapists and nurses and all of the things, surgeons, Dr. K, like the ICU doctors, and that are
Yeah.
keeping people alive. We're
Yes.
really good at keeping people alive in our healthcare system. This
Hmm.
isn't about saying like, the people working within the systems are not good. They are
No.
incredible. They are doing
Yeah.
unbelievable work under like really a pressured cooker system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like a
Yeah.
pressure cooker. I'm witnessing it with my dad's health, with my son who, was in
Hmm.
ICU. And so grateful for every single one of the people that have helped my family and recognizing the preventative key is what has been missing and more doctors, nurses, like the FAM movement that we're
Yep.
working with that are wanting to be part of the solution, not part of the
Yeah.
problem. They're
Absolutely.
recognizing nothing's going to change unless I start doing something differently. And that's
Yeah.
what this movement is all about. What is cool is this the collective amount of people and individuals, business owners, you name it, that are like, no, I got to do something because they're experiencing it for themselves, whether it's through family members, their own health, and going, this is a shit show.
Yeah.
We got to do something about it. So it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So I
Yes.
wanted I wanted to circle back because you said a couple of things. One, recognizing that, you are a soul-led, purpose-driven business owner. You were hitting a wall where you were like, what am I doing? Like again,
Hmm.
feeling like you're spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
And that's what finding in to standing in your power is all about. I just want to recognize that because I heard you when you said that you were
Hmm.
like just kind of like at that point where you're like, what, maybe giving up, maybe just whatever, settling because but you've got a bigger dream, you've got something on your heart, and you didn't give up. You stood your ground, and look at what was on the other side of that, and the opening up of things that are happening. But that's your purpose driven leadership. That is your self leadership. That is like discerning in yourself and just trusting, even though it was hard. And that's what we're
Hmm.
actually being called to do, is to really stand in our power, listen to that whisper that you're hearing. And I'm talking to the listener too right now. That whisper that you hear, I don't know what it is for you. It could be anything. It could be job related, could be relationship related, could be your own personal relationship with yourself, your needs, your
Yeah.
desires, your goals. Like, listen to that whisper because it is your soul guiding you. It is really,
Yeah.
truly your soul
And I want
guiding.
to add to that, Jen, like sometimes that whisper isn't words.
Yeah,
It's like a feeling in your body.
exactly. Yeah, it comes. Yeah, it
Like you
comes
can
in.
think, you can try to think your way out of it,
Yeah.
but your body doesn't lie. Like I can't really describe the feeling, but it's just like this like string that feels like it's like tugging from my heart to my tummy or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes the other way, but I can't. It's just like this like deep inside feeling that like, yeah, when I was
It's
like,
that, yeah, it's that
yeah,
internal knowing. It's, and when, yeah, exactly. When I say whisper, you say whisper, it's like a deep inner knowing. It might be not be a word. It may be a feeling. It may be an image of some kind, right? Like it's something you might just, it's like a flicker of something. Just listen to it. Like get comfortable with listening to it because your bodies and your mind is always communicating with you. Your higher self is always communicating with you. And the preventative piece. So you talked about yoga, you talked about, going to yoga, starting yoga for the physical benefits. And I totally relate with that.
hmm,
The physical benefits. Tell me a little bit about, how you began yoga, what you started with and what you got from it and what you understand yoga to be now. Because some people think it's so easy and that there's like, it's not really a workout. And then anybody who's
yeah,
actually started, it's like, holy shit, it's way harder than I thought it was. I thought it was just laying on the floor. And it's
yeah.
actually incredibly challenging practice.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, because it's been so long, but if I really am honest and take me back to that younger self, yeah, I only went to power classes because the other classes I thought were so slow and boring and too easy.
Yeah.
But actually, it's probably what I needed the most. So I only went to power. I still remember the studio is in Kingston called Studio 330. I'm not sure if it's still there. And yeah, I went once a week, maybe even twice a week. And everything I would do, I would take the hardest modification. So, the teachers always offer like lots of different ways to do something. I always picked the advanced because I
Yeah.
just wanted to push and sweat and challenge my body. And I'm a physiotherapist, so I got to do it all right too, like perfect angles, like look like the teacher.
Yeah.
So just so ego driven. And
I love it. I love the awareness
and
around it though, right? Like that's one of the gifts of yoga.
yeah, well, I wasn't aware that I was doing it then. This is all
Yeah.
hindsight, right? Like in
Yeah.
the moment, I'm like, come out of class, I'm probably like overstretched something or whatever, but just felt like, yeah, I like really did that class. I nailed it.
Yeah.
And then postpartum, actually, I'll tell you quickly my birth story with my
Yeah.
first. I learned about the inner core early in my physiotherapy career, which is a beautiful thing to learn. If any listeners don't know what your inner core is, something to look up. You can also like look me up. I have a lot of free guides about it. But basically, our breath is not just our diaphragm. A lot of yogis or people think it's just like a belly breath, but actually, when we breathe deeply, it goes all the way down into our pelvic floor. And then there's like other layers that are deep, 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 not your six pack, that are involved in the breath and like how we access our deepest muscles in our body. And it has a lot to do with your nervous system as well. But going back to my younger self and go go go, push push push, I when I learned about it, I was like, that's so cool. I'm going to brace it all the time because I want to be super strong. I want to be super strong as a pregnant person. And then it's going to set me up postpartum and all these things. So I was very focused on activating and holding my inner core versus truly releasing and opening and letting go. Okay. I'm just being really honest about it. And a lot of women that I see have this same issue. And it actually leads us to things like incontinence and back pain and feeling more stressed because we're holding it and not allowing that full softening deep breath. We really need the yin to the yang, right? You
Yeah.
have to have both sides. But my younger self didn't really truly know that or embrace it. Like I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And so when I went into labor, I truly believe this. I did not go from like 4 centimeters dilated to 10. I couldn't get there because I was bracing every contraction. And I was also stubborn. I was like, no, no, I don't need an epidural. I don't want any pain meds. Like, but I just literally suffered for 7 hours. And finally, the doctors were like, and nurses, they were like, let's just do an epidural so you can sleep a little bit or you can have no energy to push. And as soon as I got the epidural and like it forced me to feel nothing, right? So then
Yeah.
my body relaxed because I couldn't control it anymore.
Mm.
I dilated in like 45 minutes. I don't know for sure, but I have this inner like feeling that like, wow, like that was the first lesson, but I did it. Did I learn it right away? No. After my first baby, I was like out doing Tabata on the TRX, on the swing, like at the park with my husband. Like she was like 7 days old, like crazy. But
Yeah.
I just had this like, I gotta get my body back. I'm a physio. I have to like show,
Mm.
how strong I am and like how yeah. And so obviously over time, as and then I had my second baby and then like learned more as I dove deeper and I did my yoga teacher training in between my first and second. And they're only 2 years apart. So like started just like slowly getting deeper into the other side of yoga, not just the physical stuff. Fast forward, I did some mindfulness training when around like before I had my third baby, so a little bit later in my 30s. And I honestly think that journey of yoga in my 30s really set me up for preventing burnout in my
Mm.
40s.
Mm.
Now, it doesn't mean I'm perfect. Like I had some big
Yeah.
injuries, marathon training. Jen knows last week I felt frozen. I like couldn't open
Yeah.
my laptop. So I
Yeah.
still obviously have moments of like, ugh, and like those stuck moments, but I really have this anchor to come back to because I'm just so grateful I found it. Like I
Yeah.
know how to like connect to my body and my breath. And when things feel really overwhelming and crazy, I know I have me and I have my body for me. Like my body works for me, but I work for my body too. So we work together.
So beautiful. Because again, as we started talking about this in the early stages of this podcast of, the disconnect that people are feeling, that there is this literal disconnect. So everything you said from holding your core, like as women, it's like I can remember from being a little girl sucking in my belly.
Yeah, and listen to that word, suck in your belly. But when
Yeah.
we suck air in, the belly should go out. So
Yeah.
we're already setting us up ourselves up for failure
It's a
because the
program.
words don't make sense, right?
Right.
Like let's
It's
like if you try it right now for listeners, if you pull your air in, what happened? You pulled your belly in, but then your chest got really tight because there's nowhere
yeah.
for the air to go.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any
It's
sense.
it doesn't make any sense. And it's a program. It's a meta program. It's a thing that we have been trained to do. We have been It's been implanted into us that that's what we need to do. And I'm not, maybe men too, maybe, but I think for women for sure, it's like sucking your belly and walking around
Mhm.
constantly. And you
Yeah,
know, and that is a control mechanism. We are not allowing our body to do what it does naturally. And the
totally. Yep.
challenges that it comes with it. So that's like one thing. I mean, I remember too,
Hmm.
doing going to yoga. I did hot yoga. That was my thing. And I remember the first time going and literally having like sweat dripping off of me and being so embarrassed because I didn't sweat. Like I don't sweat. Sweat's not pretty. Sweat's not sexy.
Oh,
Sweat's not
okay.
like that's a program that I had. And I started to really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy hot yoga to the point where if my mat wasn't wet enough, I was like I didn't push myself hard enough. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's like I started
Yep.
to love the sweat. I started to love the pool of sweat that I was like finishing up
More,
in
more, more.
more, which is that push, which is that
Yeah.
what am I trying to accomplish? This is all hindsight too, to be able to recognize that I
Hmm.
just pushed myself so hard to like again try to fit in, keep up with everybody else at the practice, be the like get into the best shape, lose the most weight, like all
Hmm.
those things. You said it, the burnout. So the burnout is just what Enable No More is all about, right? It's like the burnout, the codependency, the perfectionism,
Hmm.
the performance at times. It's ego driven. It's a wound though, right? It's this
Yeah.
deeper wound that we have to be something like that because being ourselves is not okay.
Not
And I
enough.
love that
Yeah.
you feel that this has helped you to prevent that burnout because
Hmm.
burnout is just again another symptom to a deeper rooted problem. Not And the problem isn't the problem, it's a wound, it's a program, it's something that's in the subconscious mind that we're not even aware of, and you don't know until you know, right? And when
Yeah.
you know, you can do better.
Yeah.
And being able to share your story, that your birth story, to be able to look back at that and recognize what that beautiful experience taught you, and to be
Hmm.
able to now share that with other women. I mean, yeah, to be holding in your contractions, and that's like wild.
Isn't it?
It's wild, and how we create our own suffering. And I did the same thing in a different way, right? I did the same thing in a different way,
Yeah.
trying to hold it, control it, like make
Hmm.
sure it's going to go, and thinking I was doing the right thing, thinking I was like doing it for the right reasons. And I
Yeah.
just didn't know what I didn't know. And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing to be able to go, "Holy shit." Wow. Okay. Thank you
Yeah.
for showing me what I needed to let
Hmm.
go of. So cool. So
So
cool.
cool.
And just to circle up on that, because what I'm hearing when you were talking and sharing your story, and this is, yogic, it's like this Shakti energy, this feminine energy. So we all
Hmm.
have feminine and masculine energy, and it's not feminine woman, feminine or masculine man. It's
Hmm.
energy. Energy
Yes.
can't be created or destroyed. Masculine energy is more do, accomplish, figure it out. And
Hmm.
feminine energy, and that's just like a very short synopsis of it because it's much broader if we went into it. Feminine energy is softer. Well, masculine is push.
Yeah.
Feminine is flow. Feminine
Yeah.
is soft, breath work, open, expansive,
Mm.
restorative, right?
Yeah.
So when we're in masculine energy, and most women are in masculine energy because that has been programmed into us to
Yeah.
get things done and whatever. But what you're explaining is that surrender to this feminine, like the more slower practices, the yoga that
Hmm.
is laying on your mat, not doing the crazy asanas. It's
Yeah.
like that yin yang, and we need it, but we need all of it. But when you're
Yeah.
living in that masculine energy, there's no room for that feminine softness.
No, and I will say this too, like you can get, we as women, probably men too, to be honest, can get away with just the one-sided energy only for so long, right? Like, especially with perimenopause. It's funny because like we can make all these like perimenopause jokes, like you and I, we both
Yeah.
forgot things this morning, like, right? But it's also a gift because you literally cannot just keep pushing. Like,
Nope.
it's just actually not possible.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it forces you to like really slow down and tune in. And if you don't, the body does break, right? Like things start to really start talking to you. It's going to be your heart health. It's going to be, burnout. It's going to be you not sleeping. Like, so I really true like I'm not saying I don't have any symptoms and I'm like seeing all the right people that I trust in my toolkit for
Yeah.
that, but because of the experience throughout my 30s with yoga and running, listening to my body. This transitional period for me so far, knock on wood, but I've turned 44 this year. Like, I feel like it's manageable. Like, I
Hmm.
don't feel like I suddenly turned 40 and lost, all like, I hear this a lot, right? Like, I turned 40 and I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't feel like myself. Every time I do the workouts I used to do, my body hurts, or I can't eat the foods that I used to eat. Like, I feel like it's not that crazy a transition, but because I have those practices that I've been practicing
Yeah.
for years to set me up for this, which is I'm
And
really
that's
grateful for that.
prevention. Yeah, that's
Yes,
prevention in action.
exactly.
Because you have the tools to manage the symptoms. Even if you are feeling off or you're feeling, you've got the tools to regulate the nervous system, to
Yeah.
support you, even though it's still messy. Let's
Of
be real.
course.
It's
Yeah.
still messy. And that's why I think our moms and their moms didn't have, I mean, we're still in a place where most doctors have no concept of menopause or and how to support individuals, women moving through it. We're getting more and
Mm-hmm.
more specialists, which is beautiful. Education and resources. There's the women out there now that are advocating and wanting to bring awareness for women because we don't have to suffer through it. We
No.
don't. And it's not just, oh, well, that's just menopause. No, yes, and we don't have to suffer through it. We can actually take action to help ourselves move through that transition of life, which is inevitable. We will all go through it to
Yeah.
different degrees and to different severities. But that whole concept, well, it's just what you have to go through. I feel sorry for our mothers who had no support in this way. I know
Yeah.
for me, breath work, I'm postmenopausal now, but I felt pretty good. And then I hit a place where I was like, I couldn't work out. Like, seriously, my body was just, it was crazy what ended up happening. And I had the practices, even though I couldn't work out, I was doing slow movements. I was doing like restorative practices because that's what my body was
Was craving and needing.
forcing me to
Mhm.
do. It's like that
Yeah.
slowing down is 100% like what I experienced. And that breath work helped me in the early stages to move through hot flashes. I had hot flashes at the very beginning for maybe a couple of months. And I started to use
Mm-hmm.
breath work every time I was having a hot flash, and they just went away. They just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool. So
Nice.
yeah, we're never powerless. There's always things that we
No.
can when we have the tools in our toolbox. And that's where Tatiana shines and can help, help you with all the wisdom that you have and all the training and everything that you do and can bring to women who are not just moving through
Thank you,
menopause, but
Jen.
stronger through midlife and all of it, right? It's like
Yes.
mind and body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we want,
Yeah.
right? Like, we don't want to live our lives kind of in feeling like as we age, it's a decline. Like, you just want to live in a body that you feel like you can trust and that
Hmm.
can support you in doing the things that you love and just being able to show up feeling like yourself. That's all I want. And I'm sure
Exactly.
that's what most women want. Mm-hmm.
Well, and disrupt that pattern because that pattern is a big pattern that, like, oh, once you're midlife, it's like these are just the inevitable things that you're going to experience. Weight gain, decreased muscle mass, like is all just downhill from here. It's like, no. No, no, thank you. I'm not buying into that. Right? It's like I'm taking my power back, girl, and I am going to be the best version of me at 50, 60. I'm going to do the things that are in my control to live a healthy, happy, long life, but also with, very healthily.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the most important to me,
Yeah.
and I'm sure for most.
Yeah. So I want to just give you an opportunity to talk about some of the things that you've been working on. People can be
Sure.
expecting in the future because I know you've been working on some pretty big things.
I wrote a manuscript, so I do have a solo book that should be coming out maybe in the next 6 to 12 months. The timeline is dependent on publisher. In the hands of Marcia now, but yeah, that's very exciting. I originally, when I wanted to write a book, it was focused around my marathon training and a really big injury that I went through, and I learned a lot about my body. But when you start writing and pouring your heart into your story and reading it back, It's really interesting how other things come up, and there were so many parallels with motherhood. It's not just about running, it's really about healing, but from other lenses and perspectives. So that's really exciting and coming up. I'm also in a collaborative book, which Jen is also in, inside the Preventative Health Awareness Movement family. So I think what's our timeline? Like
I think we're trying to get
December-ish,
it out
January?
by like January 2027, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, just in time for
Yes,
our February kickoff month. So
that's right.
that, like, it was an honor to be asked to contribute a chapter for that and to be alongside other preventative health practitioners and people and leaders together in this book. Like, that's very exciting and very cool.
Yeah.
My podcast, I'm on gonna release episode 43 this week. So that's super
Amazing.
fun.
Yes.
And Jen's episode is coming up soon. So she was on the Move with Ease podcast, sharing her story. So look out for that one. Yeah. So you can if anyone listening wants to check out my work, TatiannaGraham.com. There's two N's in Tatianna. You can find links to my resources there. Listen to the podcast. If anyone feels curious what it's like to work with me, you can book a discovery call. It's just like no pressure. Let's go through your goals. What might you be feeling stuck with? I often get, like some people have been through chiro, physio, osteopath. It feels like they've done all the things, but they still just keep getting the reoccurring, like the same kind of stuck feeling, or they feel like it hurts their hip, or every time they try to lift heavier weights at the gym, they hit a ceiling. So, or maybe you're just waking up not feeling like yourself and you want to kind of dig into like we talked about earlier in the episode, like peeling back those layers. So this is the work I really enjoy, just like kind of getting deeper past that surface physical layer and really helping you from a holistic, all the angles, right? What's your mental health like, your spiritual health, your physical health, and your emotional health? And we tie that together through working together. And the method is called Move with Ease method.
Yes, and I will attach all of your links in the show notes so people can reach out to you. You are an incredible
Sure.
soul. What you are offering is so unique, Tatianna, and I know the
Thank
women that are
you.
working with you are just reaping the benefits, mind, body, and spirit, and living their lives in a way that they never would have expected they could. And that's what Move with Ease is all about. I love it. I absolutely love, all that you're bringing to this world. And I'm so grateful for you to be on the podcast here. I have one question for you though.
Sure.
So, if you were to think about something in your life, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, like what's one thing that you used to believe was outside of your power that you no longer believe is true?
Okay, there are many, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna go something that keeps surprising me, which is
Mm,
the speed that I can run. So I thought like I had peaked for a run speed in like my 20s. Ran a marathon in my late 20s, and it took me 4 hours and 20 minutes, which is fine. Like it's pretty average. It's fine. And then I did train for a marathon when I was 40 and I failed. I didn't actually run that marathon because and my book talks about this. I had a really
yeah.
big hip injury and I actually couldn't run for 7 months. It was devastating because I've been running my whole life. And then I came back and I was just grateful to be running again. Just like, and that was a big shift to like really truly practice gratitude for my body in a new
Mm,
way and talk to my
yeah.
body in a new way. And it truly helped me heal my hip completely, like beyond the physical things that I was doing. That like connection to my body and my hip and honoring it and talking to it. And yeah. But then now I'm 44 and I can hit paces. Like I'm probably going to already ran a 5K faster than I've ever run in my life, which I think is so cool. Like my 20-year-old self or even 30-year-old self would never have thought that.
Amazing.
Like
I love it.
never. Yeah, and so I feel like those things I was in my own way, like thinking maybe like my older self was thinking, oh, like after 40, like you got to slow down or you won't be as strong or you can't do these things or you won't be able to run as fast, but that's just not true. However, we don't just go out and do it, right? Like you have to support your body with the right tools. So I strength train. Obviously, I do yoga, so a lot of mobility work, nutrition, sleep, eating, the basics, right? We got to
Yeah.
get the basics right, and then we can elevate ourselves.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that because that is it, right? You're disrupting the pattern. You've taken back your power. That 20-year-old version that thought that was your limit is
Yeah.
now at 44 running faster than you could have ever imagined. And that is what's possible when you train your mind, your body, and listen to that inner whisper that says you can. I can, I
Yeah.
will, watch me. I love it. Thank you so much for
Totally.
sharing that. And thank you so much for
Thank
being on
you.
the show. I look forward to having you back because, yes, we could continue to talk for hours. There's so much to your story. I can't
So
wait for
much.
your books, both of them to come out so that I can read more about your story. Have you back on the podcast another time where you can share a little bit more of, your journey, your marathon, your injury, all the wisdom that comes from those challenges that is really asking you to go deeper into knowing yourself and to taking back your power. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
Um,
Jen.
you're welcome. Thank you. And thank you for joining us. And we will see you next time on Enable No More. Take back your power. Have a great day. Sending you so much love. Bye for now. The biggest thanks for tuning in for another episode of Enable No More, Take Back Your Power podcast. If you loved this episode, I invite you to share it with a friend or tag me on social media. I'd love to hear what landed for you. And if you feel called, please take 30 seconds and leave a 5-star review. It helps this podcast grow and reach more people who need it. Until next time, remember, disrupt the pattern and take back your power.